This is a quick video tutorial showing how to align several cameras after a trip or an outing or whatever. The clocks on cameras are rarely perfectly aligned. In fact, if you manage to do it on a consistent basis, then you're probably incredibly obsessive. This is a quick way to do it. Every time it works perfectly, it aligns everything, and it's really easy to do. So I'm in Lightroom. This whole thing's based around Lightroom. You can invent your own version for other tools. And I've gone for a little walk on the Remake Rapids and in the Ornamental Gardens the other night. And I shot a bunch of images, and you can see here I started at the gardens, then I drove over to Remake Rapids, and you can see it was very late at night, middle of the night. So the trick here is that since the clocks are not aligned, here I'll show you the cameras very quickly, if I can get this right. Oh, there you are. Yeah, don't be too afraid. So EPM2, and let's get in front of I'll look into the lens. So the EPM2 and the Nikon, adapted Nikon 105mm 2.8 macro, gorgeous lens, sharp as it gets basically. Most macro lenses of this range are so sharp that you know, it's your fault if it's not a perfectly crisp image. And by the way, these are late night images, so not all of them are very crisp, but many are. Then I also carried the G6 with the 14-140. Very, very nice lens. I shoot it 1/3 stops down when the light is dim, and 2/3 or 1 full stop down, say around f11, when there's plenty of light. The G6, of course, is a magnificent body. And I carried the diminutive GM1 with its 12-32, a very nice little lens. Franiac grip. This thing's a thing of beauty. Anyway, and like you can shoot one-handed all the time, and I do that when I'm going down towards a statue here. Oh, let's hold it in front of the lens. I would just simply grab it like this, hold it steady, click. Very nice. But getting back, there, I've saved you from more of my mug. Getting back to the issue, how do you align the clocks? Well, I usually do it while I'm dumping the cards, but I've already dumped the cards. So what I will show you is how I did this, and then I will show you where I carry on from here. So the cards are all dumped here. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Brainus fartus. Here we go. So scanning along here, you can see. Let me just go back to folder and library. I don't want it to get confused, and I want to be on the main. So scanning along, you can see I have a bunch of images from these sites. Often if you switch sites, and I do this a lot when I'm walking around, you will see cameras as you pull them out of the bag and put them back in. And I'm using a small shoulder bag here, so I carry all three with me like that, and I just whip them out, shoot, put it back, take the other one out, shoot. That saves me from a lot of hassle. I don't like swapping lenses in the field. It's too slow, and these bodies are all small. They fit nicely in the bag anyway with the lens mounted. So when I move along, I often get interleaved images. It drives me completely nuts, especially when the cameras, for whatever reason, are off by multiple hours or even a day. I have had that happen to me, and it just really screws up the look. And of course, when I put these up in my gallery, they also sort by capture time. So you've got to get this right. So when you do this, there's a single trick that works perfectly. I go to a local time website, timeanddate.com in this case, and I just do a Google for a current local time Eastern, and I get this site. And this is my favorite. I get both an analog and a digital clock, and it's counting seconds. You want them aligned to the second. Aligning to the minute only means that you'll get some interleave. Aligning to the second means that even if you get interleave, they were shot within the same second anyway, and that's close enough. So you have, at this point, the ability to just shoot these images, and I'll show you what I did. I just, I did it again. I love that part of the Lightroom interface. So the next, it was either the late evening or the next day, I think it was probably the next day, I went out and shot well, I took the cameras out and I shot these 3 images. So this would be the G6 right here. Actually before that I shot the EPM2 first, which you can tell just by the time, 11:01:05, 11:02:25, and a few minutes later I pulled it out at 11:06:32. I pulled out the GM1 and shot with the lenses that were on it. You don't have to get fancy, you just want to capture that time. That's what matters. Okay, so now I've got each of the cameras with the same card that's in them and the actual camera having shot a current local time image. Here's a quick sidebar, if you happen to shoot everything in Galapagos, now you're at home, what do I do now? Well, if you want it aligned to the Galapagos Islands, just shoot this image. There's the current local time in Galapagos, so if you shoot that right now, your camera will have the correct time for the Galapagos Islands. If you haven't touched the camera, it's still on the Galapagos time. So, you know, be careful. Don't touch your camera time all the time. Don't keep switching it back and forth because it makes it a nightmare to align. But obviously, if you have done that, you can always figure out the offsets and try to get it right. Good luck with that. I personally hate trying to do that. So I just do this. And in fact, if I happen to be, like, if you actually have internet access in the Galapagos Islands, shoot this image before you leave. And that way, if you fiddle with camera later, you don't care. The card has the correct image on it. Now, how is this image useful? Well, you go in here to Lightroom, and I think I do that just about every time. I'm very impressed. You go into Lightroom, and now we're going to isolate each camera, each set of images from a camera, and we're going to adjust the capture time to this time. So I'm going to start with, first off, you have to be in right here. Now, I'm going to show you this a little closer if I get this right. Maybe I didn't. Did I get this right? No, I did not. It's the window key that's the shortcut. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to hitting. Here's the grid thing. So window F8 on Screenspresso will let me magnify this. Screenspresso is a great little capture thing. The microphone, by the way, is a Microsoft LifeChat 3000. The best value out there, and I've used a lot of headsets for calls and for everything else. There's nothing that compares. So, okay, so you can see where I'm clicking. It's on the grid view. So that gives you this view of all of the images, but I don't want to process all the images because I have to set each camera separately. So when you're in grid view, you get this filter mechanism. Go on to metadata, and now you get to choose which camera you want to process. So let's start with the G6. Now we have all the G6 images isolated just by clicking there. Oops. You can see where I'm clicking, right? So, anyway. Now, I am going to hit Control A, which has now selected everything. And I will now adjust the metadata. Now, I can't adjust the metadata until I get the image I want to adjust it to. So, this is where I want to adjust it. Everybody's still selected. I've just made this the active image. And I can see it's 11:02:25. I don't want to make it, I'm not going to double click this to make it the dominant image because I want to maintain this view so that I don't make a mistake. You don't want to be making mistakes when you're dicking around with capture time. So here's capture time, edit capture time. Again, let's magnify that, edit capture time. Okay, now you can see here that I've got the corrected time. I'm going to say adjust to a specified time and date because what this does is it modifies all the selected photos by entering the current time adjustment. So by choosing a specific date and time, which is what that is, 11:02:25 a.m. on the 9th. Remember the date. If you've got a different date in there, you're going to want to adjust the date too. If you're off by a day, this fixes that too. So let's make sure we get the entire date and time in here. So this is saying 11:01:37. It's obviously off by close to a minute, which is going to really screw up the sort. So 02, and then this is supposed to be 25. And that's it. Now remember, you're not adjusting to the time you shot these videos, you're adjusting to this and that says AM, and that says AM, and that's good. At this moment, I now can change them all. And we're about to do it, and whoop, I should have shown you that. It's virtually instantaneous. I should have shown you that, as in I should have shown you what it looked like up here. So I'm going to do another one now, and I'm going to do it without magnifying. So here we go. So we've done that one. It's all adjusted. Now we go back. Metadata. I shouldn't have clicked on that. Come on, wake up. GM1 next. So the GM1 images are here. I'm going to click on this one, but I have to select them all. Control A. Everybody's selected. My active image is 11:06:32 a.m. on the 9th. I will now go in and go back to metadata, edit capture time. Now you can see it's 11:06:32. I've got 11:07:57. I am miles off. 11:06:32. 11:06:32 a.m. 11:06:32 a.m. August 9. August 9. Double, triple check it if you have to. Don't screw this up. Change them all. There, it's just done it. They're all done. One left to do. I might as well do it because you're watching. Here's the EPM2's work. I love this camera with this lens. It's manual focus, but if you use the trick, which is line art mode, and assign it to a button, you've got basically the moral equivalent of a relatively accurate focus peaking mechanism, and that's how I did all of these. So some of them are really sharp, some of them are slightly off, but for example, that first image is wicked sharp on those stamens, if that's what those are. Okay, last one. So go to metadata. Oh, no, wait, I'm in grid view, but I am not selected on the right image. So let's go over there, zip it along, click. There's my image, 11:01:05. Control A to select everybody. Always operate on them all. Otherwise, you'll be suffering, because once you change one, you can change it back if you can remember the exact time offset, but if you don't, you're toast. You have to shoot another one. You could do that. Just take a card. As long as you haven't touched the time on the camera, you can always create another image to align to. It's the offset that is applied to everybody. It's not the exact time. So the offset is, let's find out what the offset is. Go to metadata, edit capture time. The offset is, it's currently showing 11:01:05, 11:02:24. So it's a minute and a half off. I mean, it's just wildly off. So they're all off by something. And like I said, good luck trying to keep them aligned. There's no point. This is so easy. 01:05. Check the date, August 9. August 9. We're done. Change all. And that's done. That's it. So now I go back. I've got grid view. I'm going to get rid of metadata view. I'll go to all cameras. There. Shut metadata view off. So here we go. So now you can see these are all aligned. And they're, of course, aligned perfectly in time. I believe, actually, these were misaligned last time because this was in front of this. Because the offsets were different. But now you can see we got 11:01, 11:02, and 11:06. There you go. That right there shows you that it worked. But, more importantly, the images are all now perfectly aligned between cameras. You get a nice smooth flow. And I did switch back and forth a bit here. So GM1, G6, there are the videos I made. They're meaningless. And that's it. We're fully aligned now. It was easy after the fact. This is the only video I know of that shows this. I looked around for one to see if there was any point in making it. But that's the trick. You have to photograph one of these and align to it, and you're good. Just don't play with your camera's time once you start shooting. Just leave it go, and then whatever you do, you can align to any time zone you care about, even after the fact, by finding the time zone and shooting this image, and then align to it, and that offset will offset all of your images once you've selected them correctly using the metadata feature in grid mode. And that's the name of that too.